Hey there guys, Lord Frigid here, and this time we have a straight gameplay farming video. It's been a while since I've done straight gameplay or farming, so I decided I'd just go ahead and merge those two together. Show you the updates I have made to my farming strategies. You will see that I have some right off the bat with my skill setup changes. I'm using Expel instead of Burst of Light. It looks smaller, but it is not, the game lies. And second, I'm using Storm Ward instead of Flame Armor. I recently learned, a little bit late unfortunately, that you can use unleveled Storm Ward instead of Flame Armor for story maps. Storm Ward's auto crit and rapid pulses will allow you to run right through just like you do with Flame Armor, and it will kill everything. The radius is also a little bit larger, I think. But yeah, so if you, the information comes a little too late for me, unfortunately. I've already leveled Flame Armor to, like, what is it, Epic 5-ish, something like that. But if you haven't leveled Flame Armor, you don't need to. You don't need to level a rune that's only useful in farming. Just go with Storm Ward. Or with Guardian Light. Guardian Light works too. If you're one of those people who doesn't like swapping skill runes constantly. Guardian Light is a little less flexible because it ticks once per second, whereas Storm Ward just rapidly pulses all the time. So that's something to note. But Guardian Light does deal more damage, and that's especially useful in Adamar's Gold Sanctum, where Storm Ward won't auto-crit, and you will probably not kill every enemy by just walking through them. So I'm going to go ahead and do 2 runs of Adamar's Dungeon, and the Inner Circle, and Adamar's Sanctum. And the first run will be kind of a walkthrough run. The second run will be a more normal speed run. And for the Adamar Sanctum, I will actually be running it as if it were Adamar's Gold Sanctum, because to me, that's the only reason I would ever go into an Adamar Sanctum map. Very normal start. Fireblink, Fire Blast, Drake. Then you run over here, Fireblink again, start freeing these prisoners. Wait for that Reanimator to do his job. He'll get about 2 casts off before you kill him, which is fine. Storm Ward, showing its value there already. Go ahead and Fire Blast these. Free this prisoner. Do not basic attack the Crazed Sapper, although I guess it really doesn't hurt to do so. Because Flame Armor isn't on the skill set, I have to rely on the Fireblink explosion and the Storm Ward pulses to take out the suicidal enemies. Which is, I don't know, it's fine. It's a little less convenient than just running through with Flame Armor, certainly, but you can work with it. Port up the stairs, make sure to hit this mage. That will start the final Reanimator on his reanimation route. Whereas if you hit anything other than the mage, he would not notice. He wouldn't care. Yeah, oops, I overshot that a little, but whatever, I got his 3rd cast. Cool, yay. Storm Ward here. Take out the Warlord before you teleport, because if you don't, he might knock you back. And if you get knocked back, you will lose your Fireblink move speed bonus, and that is bad. But that is the, I guess, it wasn't that much slower, but there was a slightly slower Adamar's Dungeon run to kind of show you where the Storm Wards go. Now I'll go ahead and do a more normal speed run. That is the Inner Circle, which I am not doing yet. Don't get ahead of yourself, me. Jeez. So, this run started at about 3:45 on the handy-dandy little recording timer that I have in the upper right-hand corner of my screen that you can't see, haha. Don't worry about it. We'll just take a look at where the time ends up. Hopefully, it's kind of in the low to mid 1 minute mark. Again, Fireblink explosion to get those guys, those suicidal enemies. Storm Ward, also very good for that. I'm gonna go ahead and ignore the remainder of those enemies. It's not a huge deal if I leave them. Yeah, Expel about there. Again, note that Expel does come out slightly behind where your character is due to the lag in positioning between the game's servers and your screen. So if you cast Expel too early, you'll actually catch the second Reanimator, and he won't get to summon anything at all, and you will be sad. Well, you might not be sad, but you'll have less gold, which I guess might make you sad. And that was the run at about 5:05 was when it finished. I'm just going to go ahead and do a little bit of cleanup here. So that's what is that, minute 20 seconds? That's actually pretty good. So onwards and upwards, let's go over to the inner circle. The inner circle is more technical than Adamar's dungeon. I'd say it's you need to be the most precise on the inner circle out of all the farming maps, just because of the spacing of the enemies and just the length of the map and how it's designed. Again, if you watched the last straight gameplay farming video, you do not want to Fireblink right out of this gateway here. You want to run forward until about this point, and then Fireblink, because then the Fireblink cast will catch the first group of enemies. Let's see if I can go ahead and pull that off. And yes, then drop a Fire Blast on the, what is this guy? Shroud Imperial Guard in between these two statues, and then Expel to get this back group here. And then by that time, your Fireblink will be off cooldown, so you can kind of port up. Drop a Fire Blast there, and use Storm Ward here. Run across the bridges. Port once you've destroyed all the statues. And you'll note that Storm Ward will actually destroy a bunch of the enemies in this area here. Finish off whatever you can with Expel. You can drop up to one basic attack without slowing you down too much. I'm just going to drop a bunch of them because I can. And then Fireblink about here. Then run slightly forward to catch these statues with the Fireblink explosion. I was a little slow on the running forward, so I didn't catch that last statue, but oh well. And then drop a Fire Blast to destroy the rest of them. And the reason you have to do that is because you don't have flame armor. You can't just run over the bridge and have it kill all the statues. So there's that. So yeah, you have to rely on Fireblink a little more. And for this spot, you'll actually want to Fireblink a little bit in front of these two mages. You should not be teleporting right in between them, because then they will scatter before they start attacking, and that will cause Fireblink to have a much lower likelihood of killing them both. Whereas if you port in front of them and just run forward, easy. Drop a Fire Blast on that guy, drop a Drake, Storm Ward up, port up here, and you might note if the last tick of Storm Ward got that those dragon statues. Fireblink, when your cursor is about right here and then running forward, will catch this entire group of statues. There's a couple of stray enemies and a mage. Then you drop a Drake up here for those barrels, and then Fire Blast here, and you can try to get as much of this group as you can, but some of these Shroud soldiers, their positioning in the game is really, really weird. They're if you hit them with an AoE attack, you will sometimes notice that it doesn't catch everything that's supposed to be in that area around them. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. It's not with it. The majority of the inner circle enemies aren't like that. It's just those few Shroud soldiers for whatever reason. I don't know. Storm Ward up here, and then this you can port back down, and all the enemies will have grouped up nicely around that corner, and ending the swing, the counterclockwise swing there, will put you in a perfect position to catch Grix, which is a nice little bonus that you won't see if you go purely counterclockwise. Which is why I've always preferred the clockwise version, but now it's even more of a reason to do it. So, more normal speed run started at around like 9:02-ish on my recording timer. So we'll see where we end up at the very end. Again, Storm Ward out there, run across the bridge. I lost my move speed bonus, sadness. Drop a Drake there, Fire Blast on that guy. Port up here. I don't know why that soldier wasn't caught in the Fireblink explosion, but oh well. Again, don't port right in between the mages, port slightly in front of them, and then run to them. Fire Blast, Drake, Storm Ward, Fireblink. Run through here. Last tick of Storm Ward will get those statues. Catch everything if you can with a Fireblink. I think hitting the gargoyle that drops will probably give you the best results. Do that. and then come back down with Storm Ward active. And now you can go ahead and get Grix. One thing to note is that Storm Ward and Guardian Light can actually tick on Grix before he comes down, and that run ended at about like 10:05-ish, so around a minute and 5 seconds or so. But since Storm Ward can tick on Grix, and so can Guardian Light, and you could actually kill him with Guardian Light before he comes down, which could shave a second or two off your time if you're really that into cutting down your time by that much. It's kind of hard to pull off. The timing has to be perfect. Like Guardian Light has to tick the instant you enter his range. So it's hard to master, but if you can do it, more power to you. It'll help. It might not be super noticeable, but it will help. So, Adamar Sanctum, which I will be playing with Guardian Light. It's run very much the same, actually, as with Flame Armor. You still port up here, still Fire Blast that guy, still Expel there, and Fire Blast here. You still port up the stairs, still Fire Blast the Shroud Summoner, and the other Shroud Summoner. Drop a Drake here. This time, I will actually destroy these barrels, because it's because of the Adamar's Gold Sanctum. I'm a little more concerned about getting everything. And then you'll notice that there were a few Shroud enemies surrounding me at the end there. So you have two options. You can either use Guardian Light to destroy them and then port up here, or you can expel them and then port up here. And I usually like to expel them and port up there. It's just save Guardian Light cast. And you might have noticed that I also used Fireblink to destroy the jars in that corner. I will actually drop a Drake here, and then Fire Blast up here, and then kind of run around until my Fire Blast comes off cooldown. And that is to wait for the gargoyles to drop down from the ceiling. Then I'll use Fire Blast on this group of jars there, and come back for an Expel cast, and that'll get basically everything down here. The Drake will actually get that third Serpent, so that's nice. Port down the bridge, Fire Blast, and this is when you actually want to activate Guardian Light, because this group of enemies does not seem to follow you up this bridge. They don't do a very good job of it. So you want to kill them, and then come up the bridge, do your normal things. This time I'll actually drop a Drake down there, and then if you like getting the boss for like the guild score and such, then go ahead and do that by all means. Unfortunately, if you get slapped by Adamar and get knocked down, your skills won't take effect until after the normal expiration of the knockdown. You can avoid the knockdown if you're casting a skill at exactly the time the slap would hit you, but again, that's kind of a hit Grix with Guardian Light thing. That's really specific and hard to master. But you can do it. And I think it's actually a little easier than killing Grix with Guardian Light. So if you're into getting guild score, you kill the boss, then you go back to town. But that was the kind of walkthrough run. I'll go ahead and do a more normal speed run now. Again, using the strategy that I would use for Adamar's Gold Sanctum, which is just basically getting a little more of the map complete. The run started around 13:52 on my recording clock, so we'll see where we finish up. My Guardian Light do the job there, port down here, kind of run around while the gargoyles drop. Cool. Oops, that was a little short on the teleport. Oh well. Get those guys because they don't follow you because they're mean or not easily baited, which I guess is good on them because it means they're smarter than most enemies. And oh, hey, there's nothing down there. There usually is. Okay, cool. What did I say? 13:52? I didn't talk to the boss. So I don't know. It's 14:52 now, so it's been about a minute. If you don't like to get the boss, then that's where your run ends. If you do like to get the boss, then you've got a little bit to go, unfortunately. We're at, it's probably going to end around 15:25-ish. So what is that? That's like around 1 minute and 25 seconds or so. Not horrible. It's just not the greatest time-wise. It's good for gold and good for guild score though, so that's something to keep in mind. And those were the farming runs. I hope you guys enjoyed watching that. I hope it was helpful to you, and I will catch you next video. Thanks for watching!